Hi, my name is Robert, and this is my older sister, Alice. We used to get along really well, probably because we minded our business and chatted only at breakfast, dinner, and family holidays. Now, I hate her, especially after the recent incident when I came back home too early and saw something my eyes definitely shouldn't have seen. Do you want to know what happened between me and my sister and why I dream of leaving home after school? Then watch this video till the end. By the way, you'll find even more fascinating videos on our channel. We have the most gripping stories and folks who will surely tell you something cool. Stay tuned and click the bell if you want to keep up with our new videos. And I will start with my family. I have a mom, dad, and an older sister, Alice. She's 5 years older than me. My mother told me when Alice found out she was going to have a younger brother, she was really looking forward to it. She probably thought she would play with me like with her peers, or she would feed me and take care of me instead of her dolls. But when I was born, my sister realized she was wrong. She said I was a small, wrinkled, screaming lump when she first saw me in my mother's arms when she was back from the hospital. So Alice was disappointed in me the first day. She wasn't a caring older sister who walked with me, played with me, or cuddled me. Alice sometimes helped my mother when she asked her to do it, but she didn't help her bring me up. That was the secret of our excellent relationship, I think. I often heard from the kids at school that their older sibling was a true devil because they couldn't get along and constantly fought with each other. Me and Alice lived peacefully. Our parents loved us equally. When me and Dad watched baseball, Alice and Mom cooked something in the kitchen. When Dad taught Alice how to ride a bike, Mom played badminton with me in the backyard. An ordinary family, so to say. As we got older, each of us found new hobbies and friends. Alice separated herself from me. At first, when Alice hung out with friends, my mother asked her to take me with her. But Alice realized at once neither I nor she liked that idea. Alice had girlfriends who sometimes called on us. They locked themselves in my sister's room, turned on music, and giggled all evening long. They talked about guys and gossiped about other girls. I tried to stay away from my sister's room because her friends constantly laughed at me. They jokingly tried to seduce me. They hit on me, passed by me in pajamas that didn't look like clothes at all. It wasn't easy for me, so I usually either stayed in my room or hung out with my friends. My sister's room was forbidden to me. Alice wouldn't let me in. She locked it with a key when she left. I don't know what secrets she hid in there, but it would have been better for her to keep hiding. I didn't want to know them all. One day I came home early from school. We had several classes canceled, so before my swimming training, I decided to go home and sleep for a couple of hours. There was only Mom at home. She was cooking dinner. I went up to my room. Me and Alice lived on the second floor. I sprawled on the bed and fell asleep. And I awoke from the explosion. I couldn't believe it, but I jumped out of bed with horror and ran downstairs. I bumped into Mom. She also heard a strange sound, but didn't know where it had come from. At first, me and Mom checked all the rooms on the first floor, but we didn't find anything. There was only Alice's room left to check. I was sure the explosion had been there. Mom had keys to all the doors in the house, so we easily opened Alice's room, and what we saw in there made us freeze. At first, we didn't understand what exactly had exploded there, but the walls, ceiling, and floor were covered with something black, as if a can of black paint burst in the very middle of the room. And it turned out so. When Mom came in, she saw a bag with spray paint cans under Alice's desk. Alice was an excellent painter, and sometimes she painted the school walls or buildings when she was allowed. Something definitely happened to one of the cans, so it exploded and sprayed paint all over the room. I was even afraid to imagine what would happen to Alice when she saw this. All her stuff was damaged. The bed, plush toys, books, posters with celebrities, clothes that hung on chairs, and the room looked terrible. Maybe the paint could be washed off, but the wallpaper and ceiling wouldn't. When Alice came home, she couldn't understand why we all looked upset, and only when Alice went up to her room, we heard her screams, and then her loud crying. I felt uneasy at that moment. I imagined that all my things and the room were covered with paint. Ugh, it's awful. But no matter how much I sympathized with my sister, the last thing I expected was that this would affect me in any way. Unfortunately, it did. Since my sister's room needed to be renovated, she moved to another room for a while, but we didn't have any spare rooms. My parents didn't find a better solution but to let Alice stay with me. Can you imagine? My 20-year-old sister will now live with me? I secretly hoped Alice would refuse. I thought she would live with one of her friends or with her boyfriend, but she sighed and agreed. She said she didn't want to burden anyone. She thought I definitely wouldn't mind her staying in my room for a while because I was her brother, but I was against it. It's so sad no one cared about my opinion. When Alice moved into my room, Mom and Dad said I should sleep on a horrible tiny sofa, which I used only for playing my PlayStation. My things were piled on the shelf. Alice stuffed the closet with tons of her clothes. Moreover, she put her cosmetics and care products in my bathroom. As many girls have, there were so many jars and bottles that they occupied all the surfaces. And if I thought taking over my territory was the worst thing that could happen to me, then I was wrong. The worst was that my sister was such a slob. I hated when she left something out of place or on the floor. After a couple of days, I could barely find anything in my room. Alice's clothes, her textbooks, notebooks, and socks were scattered around. Even her underwear. I'm not kidding. One day, I came home and saw Alice's bra in my gym bag. Believe me, it was really horrible. The worst was that the second part of her underwear suit, the below one, so to say, had fallen inside the bag. And I noticed it only when I took out my things in the locker room. Just imagine a men's locker room before swimming training. I take my things out of a sports bag, and then women's panties fly up in the air. I think guys will laugh at me for the rest of my life. What I also didn't expect was Alice invited her friends while living in my room, the ones who usually laughed at me. She really did it. That evening, I came home exhausted because of classes and training. I dreamed only of taking a shower and going to bed as soon as possible. But my dreams didn't come true because I found a crowd of girls who were laughing in my room. As always, the girls started hugging me, giggling, and blinking at me. Earlier, I could escape to my room, but now I had nowhere to go. I had to go downstairs and sleep in the living room. The sofa there was even less comfortable. It was awful, and I was counting the days until Alice moved back. The renovation went slowly. Almost every morning, I begged my parents to speed it up. After Alice's friends left, I hoped it wouldn't get any worse, but I was wrong again. I shouldn't have skipped the training that day. I thought Alice would be at college or work, and I would sleep at least a couple of hours. Alas, I went up to my room half asleep, opened the door, and saw something that I still want to erase from my memory. On my bed, in my room, my sister was doing it with her boyfriend. It seems to me that I simultaneously turned pale, red, gray, and almost fainted. And I was outraged. Couldn't she wait until she moved back to her room to do this? After that, I made a deal with my parents. If they didn't renovate Alice's room within a week, I would move to my aunt and uncle's. My cousin went to another city to study, and they had a spare room. I didn't mention why I wanted that. I think my parents wouldn't be delighted. Luckily, the renovation went faster. Alice will move back in a few days. I'm counting the hours when I will have space for myself, and I have already decided I will definitely move out after school. I will work and rent an apartment because I won't stand living in a hostel. By the way, Alice didn't even apologize for that incident and didn't thank me for not telling my parents anything. Do you think maybe it's worth taking revenge on her? Anyway, share your views down below. I hope you enjoyed my story. Please like the video and wait for all the next ones. See ya! See